What actually is public relations? Hi guys, my name's Deepak Shukla, founder at Pearl M PR. We are a public relations agency based in the UK, USA, as well as Uganda, and serving clients worldwide. And here today, in day number 1 of 39 days of free PR training, we're here to talk about what actually is public relations. But before we get into it, feel free to click the link in the description below to get access to 11 additional strategies that are not shared in this training. So fundamentally, if you're wondering what PR is, so look, PR stands for public relations, okay? So a big part of the clue is in the name. It's your relationship, and you can be you as an individual, it can be you as a brand, it can be you as, for example, a company, it could be you as a band, like a musician or a media personality. It's your relationship with the public, and the public also is broken down into distinct areas. You've got, for example, your audience. So let's just say, Joe Blogs, the retail audience. You've got your relationship with, for example, the media. And then when you think about, for example, the Joe Blogs folks, these people could exist in audiences, like live audiences. They could exist on social media. And then when you've got, for example, the media, then that's different forms of media. That's local magazine, that's local press, that's national press, that's magazines, that's TV. So there's a whole range of different areas that public relations falls into. And then when it comes to building your relationship, there's also things to think about is what does your brand stand for? What's your image? Okay. What's your persona? Are there things that you want to be known for, represented for? So good examples of contrasting brands would be, for example, the and public relations also has a strong link but to brand. Okay, so you can try and cultivate your brand through public relations and identify what you want to be known and or recognized for. So it's quite an interesting area to get into. And when you begin on your public relations journey, whether that's with us at Pearl Lemon, we can help support you with that. There is the proactive brand building, which is getting out there, getting into press, getting into the media. So if I, for example, now just zoom out, I'll show you, what's going on with myself. So for example, when I think about my brand in the media, then I've got, for example, what appears on Google. So Google is a big part of it as well. When you think about public relations, it's what appears for you. I compete with this American virologist, as you can see, who's got a strong Wikipedia entry. And then on the left-hand side, you've got stuff that relates to me, which is my website, my actual LinkedIn profile. We've got some video content here, as you can see, with key moments in videos. You've got the company website, you've got my images. So you can see that there's, a lot that's happening. Then you've got this guy's Wikipedia profile. So brand also really relates to your image as well as what's going on in the news. And you can see that there's something that went into the news here a month ago. If we look further back, then is there anything that relates to me specifically? Nothing at the moment, but you can see this virologist is getting content into the media through his publications, and you can see that that's what's happening here and why he's got a strong footprint online because he's a academic in an area that's got a lot of public interest, and he, as a consequence, is getting into UIC Today, Illinois Public Media. Researchers identify protein that causes. This is not me. This is a different Deepak Shukla. And then there's others out there. Okay, so you can see how all of these elements can come together to constitute a company's brand, and you can see the other elements that I'm searched on or searched for here. So we're hitting upon some further areas there. You've got, for example, your Google footprint. So what appears on Google when people search you, and that can impact, for example, and this is really the thing that people care about, which is, in a way, is your reputation. Okay, and if you've got challenges or negative stuff has come up, then that would require reputation management. If there's a crisis that's happened within your organization, it's picked up a lot of press, you might need a crisis management firm or crisis management support. If, for example, you generally have content that is tracked by media, you might need, a communications team in general to look after your relationship with the media. So that would then, if you look at across all of these elements, I mean, we're still not really, we haven't even delved into, for example, social media and the fact that if you always get tons of comments on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Snapchat, on whatever social media platform is relevant to you and is relevant right now, then there's a relationship there to be managed as well. So you might need social media managers, right? SMMs. You might need someone to ultimately, curate and manage a lot of the content and the replies that's coming out. And this applies at a company level, an organizational level, an individual level. So, there's companies who are brands. If you think about a company such as, for example, Apple, or if you think about Disney, Walt Disney, if you think about Tesla, and then if you think about, for example, Walmart, if you think about Bloomingdale's, if you think about now Elon Musk as a brand separate, for example, to Tesla as a brand in his own right. If you think about Facebook, or rather Meta, and then think about Mark Zuckerberg. So there's all of these, distinctions and nuances that relate to public relations, and building your relationship with any form of public audience is going to require the public relations strategy effectively. So if you're thinking about PR, also, if you're a new business or a new entity, or you want to get a new audience or a new perspective on your business, then looking into public relations is going to be absolutely critical and pivotal to your success. So that's something, of course, that we can help with. We go through some additional strategies here if you're looking for even more insights on how to do it yourself. But in any event, public relations is something that's incredibly important today because, again, just to underline it, it's where, in a way, the whole world of influencer marketing comes from, because you become an influencer within your own right, and then that influence needs to be managed from the perspective of, well, what is your relationship with the public? How are you perceived? How is that managed? How do you want to influence that? Because if you let it go all by itself, it can have potentially really damaging downsides. So public relations is something we should all, if we're in the business of building a business or a perspective or a persona online, something that we should be thinking about.